Hi everybody, it's Krista here back with you again tonight, and Thanksgiving is just passed. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and just a salute to everyone out there getting through the holidays that might be having the urge to smoke, drink, um, and just trying to keep calm and collected and together as we sit with families and friends again during this time. It can be a great time for many, which it should be. But when you have more toxic families that you're dealing with, sometimes it can be not so fun. Um, I know I did a video in the past, but I think I erased it. I've erased a lot of my videos, but I just keep adding more. um, it might be more of a perfection thing, but who knows? Um, but it can be an easy time as we're kind of stressed out during the holidays when we're gathering with other people. Whether it's a narcissistic mother or father or a sibling, um, or if you're dealing with things being offered to you like wine or champagne, when you've been sober and you've been doing good in your recovery. There can be things such as lapses, and there can be relapses as well. And what is the difference between the two of these? Um, when you are sober for a while, maybe you've been keeping in your sobriety pretty well for a number of years now, and all of a sudden, maybe you've lost your job, or maybe you've lost a friend in your life due to COVID or anything else. They can be stressful moments in life um, where you are just, it's easy to maybe, especially when it's offered in front of your face to us addicts out there. Where it's easy to see a drink or see a drug being passed and picking it up. Um, I found this pretty hard through times where maybe another tooth starts hurting or you have some pain, or just like you're having depression. Maybe you're alone through the holidays and you're just trying to make it through without anybody to talk to. Um, and you end up accepting whatever it is that is being offered. Um, I know a really hard one for me and a lot of us out there, when temptation is there, or you get a phone call from that um, more toxic ex that you've had, and they're saying, "Hey, let's hang out or whatever." And then you find yourself going back into this relationship or a one more time thing, maybe one more round of sex or just the love bombing. They can be really nice to you again, where the love bombing comes back in and they start treating you nice for a change. And when there are people around that we've tried to stay away from, and we have begun to make the boundary shift, either whether it's going no contact or limited contact with certain people where the temptation isn't so great. And we've done great for many months or even weeks, and suddenly that person walks back into your life for a minute to say, "Oh, well, me and that person are no longer together, and I wondered if maybe you wanted to take another swing at things." because you've always been a sweetheart and they start just saying nice things to you. Whether it's codependency or drugs, taking another gamble at the with those lottery tickets or at the casino, at the horse race. Maybe it's sex addiction and you lapse. Um, Lapse means that you're staying in your recovery for a long length of time, and then one night it's being offered, or you go and out, and then you get whatever it is with that craving of whatever it is, either to de-stress or feel better in whatever thing that could be. Um, a lapse is maybe a one night, or even a week, maybe a month, and then you go straight again. Um, or it can be a relapse where, in relapse, you start using again, you start picking up whatever it is again, and you're just stuck back in it, and you can't get out. Um, and you just feel like you have no control over it. These can be hard times, and it can make us really angry at ourselves. We can even blame and shame and guilt ourselves, and other people can really put that on us as well. Whether it's dealing with maybe a family that you're doing limited contact with, and they're asking and shaming you and feeling bad and crying that um why weren't you at grandma's house this year? We had such a great time and we really were wondering where you're at. We miss you. And you have to tell them, they want to know a reason why you're not joining them anymore. Um, And for us codependents, it's easy to fall back into these guilt frame modes where we give in and, okay, well, maybe I'll come over for a little bit. But again, using more boundary work does help when you say, okay, but just for 1 hour, and then leave. Maybe 15 minutes, and they all start talking to you, and it's hard to leave. You fall back into these people or those groups of new people that you might be meeting, or old people that are still into um, cocaine using. And they're passing it around, and they say, well, I have this. This is available right now, and call me. You don't have to take their number. You can make an excuse to leave because you can just get stuck into that old toxic dynamic of not being able to say no and picking it up again, just like a cigarette again. Um, I think in a lot of cases it's easy to pick it up one more time, but I really think the trick of that is learning how to balance it again, like picking up alcohol. Now, for some old alcoholics that were really um, into using alcohol like every day, can't even step into a bar or be around alcohol at all, or they will relapse all over again and back into drinking or marijuana use or whatever. Um, Meditation again really helps, centering, calm and centering, and mindfulness DBT exercise. Go back and just zone back into the alpha state, or centering inside of ourselves and stopping, instead of being busy, busy, busy all the time and procrastinating, like I'll quit tomorrow or I'll clean that room tomorrow, if you have hoarding problems even and everything's just a clutter. um, and things stay that way. And then you have all these other things that you're busy with, and that you need to get this done and this done and this done. I think a real priority in all of this consummation. Oops. Stop for a minute and focus and weigh the pros and cons of to stop and think using your logical mind to the emotional part of yourself that doesn't think but it reacts um, in whatever way, and to take some deep breaths. Maybe go into the bathroom where you're alone, or a place by yourself, whether you're stepping outside away from it and the noise, and think to yourself, using your wise mind instead, framing what are what will the consequence be if I begin using again, if I take a drag off that um, cigarette again, you know? Um, what are the harmful effects, and name the cons of what you're doing, instead of letting your emotions take over to rule your world. Use different ways to calm down again, like mindfulness things. Maybe stop for a minute and instead of going directly for that cigarette, put your focus on something else, like go clean a room, or don't let your emotions take over. Um, I know it can be a hard one to practice, but when we stop letting emotions control our worlds, things can really start changing. When we can put the focus on something else, like, well, I need to call that person instead of picking up those cigarettes. Maybe keeping them inside of a purse so you're not chain smoking or using all the time, and getting to the point where you can break from them for an entire day. Put them somewhere where you're not going to see them. If you do smoke one once in a while, don't buy the cigarettes at all. Um, and when you're done with a pack, don't buy more for that one more time case that you might need in the future for next week. And then you're back to chain smoking again. Don't make it easy to get. And weigh the pros and cons of what you're doing. Do I really need to hit that meth pipe with that person that just showed up? Um, Break yourself away from these people that are using, and maybe block their number and call them only when you have to about something else, like if you're working with these people and it's about work. um, Make it less easier to attain whatever it is, so that we can fall into a balance, um, rather than not taking the responsibility for our actions, and let our actions become good habits, and making good habits instead. Maybe making that bowl of salad instead of going again for that all that red meat when you have high cholesterol, or whatever it is that feels good at the time, but you know that it's hard to stop eating it or spending it when you're used to falling into that state of like binging out, or buying that car that you can't afford. Um, and a lot of us can do that just to feel better, and we're not thinking and stopping and weighing the pros and cons, and making it less easy to get whatever that is. And just keep continuing to do that and practice that. And like me, I can come to a state now where um, I don't need to use that over and over again, When I get pain pills for like maybe another tooth when it comes out, take them when necessary, but where it's easy to, once they give you a bottle, to go out and find more ways of easing that pain, um, just to take some ibuprofen instead. Is the pain that unbearable that you have to have some more opioids? Um, it can be really hard to do. It really can be, but by practicing mindfulness, meditation, ways of relaxing, and healthier habits, we can come to that place where we can go um, and maybe have one beer or two beers, but not more than that. We can get to a place of balance where we can use these things that we were once addicted to, and we can do it one time, and it becomes enough for us. So I think we can do that with anything, um, in any time during every day, that we can choose healthier habits, and we can gain control more of our emotions, whether a toxic person can be bothering us and provoking us, and getting us to fight back, um, when it comes to maybe you're drawing boundaries that they don't like this time. And well, we've always done this before. One more time won't hurt. Ways that they can let us that we can kind of fall back into that trap again. Because it was such a nice place to be, whether in that numb place or where our dopamine levels can increase and we feel good again for just a while. And we spend all our money again until we're broke. Balancing it all is really the name of the game, in essence, to everything, I believe. And we can get to this place when we can stop and, uh, according to toxic people, whether it's on the workforce or at home or with friends, that might be difficult, people that might be difficult in every occasion, whether it's at a gas station with a clerk or whatever. If they start insulting us or in any way or fashion, that we can keep our cool, in cases of anger and moods, and we can just stop and, um, where we are not drawn back into that family enmeshment, or we have to keep our job and we can't get fired again for telling somebody else off, where we can get to points where we can handle save our dignity and ultimate respect for ourselves and respect that other person back in a certain way, where we actually come out of the situation and we win, and they don't, which, a lot of toxic people like to do. They like to fight until they win and accuse you of going off the deep end, and either you're crazy or you're just like a not safe person to be around, uh, or your mental disorder is just too profound, and you're this or you're that. Learning to believe in yourself and accept your faults and accept that we can always work on ourselves and become in that balance. When we learn not to jump in and wrestle with those pigs where we end up getting in trouble and we're mad at ourselves, we can learn to accept and forgive ourselves, just knowing that we are practicing new habits and new structures, in this life and in the future, where we can finally stop worrying like codependent so much about others, and we can really start inwardly, start healing, eating better, taking our meds, and just becoming um, accepting of ourselves as we learn to let go in cases of meditating or mindfulness, or we can take breaths and think of beautiful things instead of the ever never ending nagging negative stuff going on in your head. Learning new ways of being, and you start changing, and it's really beautiful. These changes are beautiful. And give yourself some credit today and a pat on the back that you did get through another holiday, and life is becoming easier, more bearable as we become more in control of ourselves and the outside world. Thank you so much for listening, and happy belated Turkey Day. Peace.